Welcome to Up to No Good. Forgiveness. It's something we all need from time to time, but it's more powerful than we think, both when we receive it and when we give it to others. Let's talk about it. No human is perfect. We're all going to make mistakes. Others are going to make mistakes and wrong us as well. When these kinds of things happen, it's easy for remorse, guilt, bitterness, and even hatred to set in. But forgiveness is a powerful tool we have access to alleviate that. What forgiveness is, at its most basic level, isn't something we give to someone else. It's actually something we do for ourselves. We're giving ourselves the freedom from feeling whatever emotions have come from what was done wrong to us. And think about it this way. When you forgive, you're not forgetting what was done to you. Instead, you're changing what emotions you associate with it, and you're letting go of the negative emotions you feel about what was done. So it's not for the other person. You're not forgiving to absolve them of any wrongdoing. You're not forgetting any wrongdoing. What you're doing is you're absolving yourself of the feeling and the weight that comes with the emotions of what was done to you. Similarly, when we seek forgiveness from others, what we're actually saying is, I have this feeling, and with your permission, I would like to stop feeling it. And others aren't required to give us that permission. They could even turn to cruelty and tell us no, and want us to continue to carry whatever negative feelings may have come from that interaction. However, if we've learned from the mistakes that we've made, and we've changed and we're ready to move on, we don't actually require their forgiveness to move on. We can simply come to terms with it, accept, change, and then move on, absent their forgiveness or their participation in the forgiveness. Forgiveness is often misunderstood in this way, that it's an externalized process that requires someone else outside of us to give us permission to move past our own feelings. And this isn't the reality of it. And in some situations where people don't accept responsibility or accountability, problems that we have can fester and metastasize and get even bigger than they need be to begin with. In situations like this, forgiveness can be seen as a kind of weakness or a self-betrayal, but that also isn't true. Forgiveness takes a lot of courage, because it's you confronting your own past, your own memories, confronting your own emotions, and then taking possession of them and deciding to look at them differently, which isn't a very easy thing to do to begin with. And it's a true act of courage to be able to look at some of the things that have happened to you in life, or things that you've done, and say, even though these things are part of who I am, I'm going to choose differently. I'm going to change, and I'm going to do something different than what was done to me, or I'm going to do things different than how I have done them in the past. It's a true act of mental and spiritual liberation to look at something that has happened to us and say, even though this thing has happened to me, I'm going to choose to feel differently about it. I'm going to choose to change how I associate with this thing. It takes real wisdom, and it takes real courage and maturation to go through with that. To not confine yourself just to the negative emotions that are associated with it. At its core, forgiveness is an act of self-acceptance. You are choosing to accept all of the things that have happened to you, all of the things that make you who you are as a person, both the things you've done, the rights and the wrongs, and the things that were done to you, right and wrong. All of them create you as you are currently and presently. And forgiveness is about accepting all of that in totality. And when it comes to putting these kinds of things in practice, it's often a lot simpler than we make it out to be. It's just the emotional weight associated with it that makes it seem more difficult than it actually is. For me, I have two different approaches for two different scenarios. Wrongs that were done to me and wrongs that I've done to other people. When it comes to how others have wronged me, I try to understand and identify what happened. I try to figure out what went wrong and why. And I take this Henlon's razor kind of approach, where I don't attribute to malice what could be attributed to simple ignorance, right? Was that person doing the best they could at that moment, or were they actually trying to hurt me? What was going on with them at the time? Were they tired, hungry? But if I think back through it, I can kind of identify a bit more about the scenario rather than just having the emotions that came along with it. And from there, I can kind of separate the emotions, or at least minimize them, in reflecting and thinking back through it and processing it. Sometimes people act out of ignorance, and that causes us hardship. Very rarely are people actually going out of their way to be malicious towards us when they make mistakes, but it does happen from time to time, and it is awful when it does. It doesn't excuse what they're doing, but it's part of the messiness of being human. I like to remind myself that I'm in control of how I react to things. Even in the present moment, even in reflecting on these things, I can choose to be upset about them, and nothing changes about that situation. Only I'm upset now. I can choose to feel bitter about it, and it's the same. Or I can choose to identify that this thing happened, it's now part of me, and life must go on. It is just a character feature that this person may have. They may change it at some point, or they may not. But for the time being, the situation is what it is, and I can't change anything about it. The only thing I have control of is how I react to it, and whether or not this thing will dictate how I feel moving forward. Sometimes anger is justified, and sometimes it's just not. I know anger is an instinct, and this causes us to make mistakes. However, it's not always a justified response to everything that happens. Sometimes there is a place for righteous anger, and a lot of times there's really not. So it's important to try to put as much distance between you and anger as possible, and put as much understanding in between you and mistakes as you can possibly manage. When it comes to wrongs that I've done towards others, it's a little bit different. If I know I've done wrong, and I know I've done wrong, even if nobody says anything, I have to own it and I have to admit to it. I have standards that I set for myself that I try to hold myself accountable to. And if I fail, it's my responsibility to call me out even if no one else does. And you can do this for yourself. As soon as I can, I take accountability. I let the other person know that I've done wrong and that I'm going to do better in the future. It's a humbling experience and a gentle reminder that I am human. And from there, I try to make myself available to listen and understand from their perspective and try to make things right if possible. And there are situations in life where we're not able to make things right. And sometimes people don't want to reconcile or make amends. And in those sort of situations, you just have to reflect on them, come to terms with them, understand what went wrong, make peace with the reality of it, and continue to live life. You can't hold yourself in the shackles of guilt forever over things that you've done in the past, because if you want to continue to live, you can't do so in the past. You have to at some point be in the present to live. When you start down this path, it may not be easy. A lot of emotions may come up, ones that you maybe have tried to bury or avoid. And it's okay to be gentle with yourself. It's okay to reach out to people, connect with people, and confide in people when you need to. You'll need a constructive outlet for those emotions. This may start out as an emotional journey at first, but it doesn't end that way. The more you let go of anger, resentment, guilt, shame, bitterness, and hatred, the lighter you become as a result of it. Forgiveness doesn't change the past. It changes how we feel in the present about the past. It changes our perspective about what it means to be human, both for ourselves and for others. It liberates us from the emotions that shackle and confine us to a life of negativity. And in doing so, it makes us lighter and brighter and closer to good in both mind and spirit. Until next time, always stay up to no good.